So many people ask me how to cook the perfect pork belly. Well, I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you how to get that beautiful crispy crackling and melt in your mouth tender pork meat. And I'm going to take it one step further by also making a delicious sweet and sour Asian inspired sauce. Now let's get onto the pork first. I've preheated my oven to 220 degrees, a nice hot oven for this. I've removed my pork out of the fridge about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, because you want it to come to room temperature. Now have a look at this skin. It almost looks like leather. It's so dry, and I've also scored it in a diamond pattern. If you want your crackling to be really blistery and really crunchy, then make sure you dry it out. So place it in the fridge just like this and air dry it. Don't cover it with any plastic wrap. You want it to dry out, and that's the perfect way to do it. Now we need to add a little bit of oil. I like to use vegetable oil for this, so just a drizzle, and then use your fingers just to spread it out. We'll turn it over and we'll just drizzle a very small amount again on the back. So a good pinch of salt on one side, and then we'll turn it over and another good pinch of salt for the skin, because again, that gives us great crackling. So we'll just spread that around, getting that into the nooks and crannies. Now this goes into the oven. You want to give it about 15 to 20 minutes or until it gets really blistered. It'll look cooked, but that's just the first stage of cooking. Okay, while that's in the oven, we can get onto the sauce. A really easy sauce using a lot of pantry ingredients. These are ingredients that I always have in my pantry, just on standby to make a really vibrant, robust sauce just like this. We'll place a saute pan on a medium to high heat. I'll add some sugar. Now this is just some palm sugar, a couple of handfuls that I've just shaved with my knife. Essentially, we're making a caramel, so allow that to really melt down and become golden. While that's happening, and I'll keep an eye on it because it is sugar, we need to get our aromatics organised. So this is a kaffir lime leaf. It has a really zesty smell to it. 2 chilies. This is all going to be roughly chopped, so 2 long chilies, seeds and all, and we'll just take the stalk off. We don't want that. A generous amount of ginger. I love ginger in this. And we're just going to slice this nice and thin. And then 4 cloves of garlic that I'll just bruise and break up a little bit. This is just going to perfume our coconut sauce. Now let's have a look at this caramel. I can smell it. It's delicious. And look at that. Beautiful, deep, rich colour. Now we need to place some acidity in here. So I'm using some black vinegar. Now, black vinegar is one of those ingredients that I just can't live without anymore. It's got this malty, almost woody, smoky flavour to it. It's a Chinese vinegar. It's got that deep, dark colour to it and works really nice when you want to make a sweet and sour sauce, just like this. Now, you'll see that the sugar seizes up a little bit, but in a moment when I start adding all the other ingredients, it'll melt away. Now for the salty and savoury component to this dish. For the savouriness and a little bit of saltiness, some fish sauce, 80 millilitres. It seems like a lot, but this is really going to give it that lovely umami flavour, that savoury flavour that we keep talking about. So 80 millilitres and some soy sauce. I like to use a sweet soy for this. This one's called ketchup manis, and we'll measure that out accurately. Perfect. Now we'll add that to our pan, and just with a wooden spoon, give that a mix just so all of those flavours start to mingle. Now I'll add our aromatics, place that in there. We'll give that a stir, and I can feel now that all of that sugar has melted back in to all of those other sauces. Now this is a very concentrated sauce right now, so we need to dilute it a little bit with some stock. Chicken stock, about 400 millilitres. And don't forget, we do need quite a lot of sauce for this because we're going to pour this into the pork later on, and it needs to submerge all of the meat. So a good amount of sauce is what we're looking for. And for the creamy component, I use 2 cans of natural coconut milk. We'll pour in. This will thicken the sauce up a little bit, and again, it will mellow this sauce down nicely. Okay. Now I'm just going to give that a stir and just let it bubble away for about 5 to 10 minutes, no longer than that. And then we'll wait for this pork crackling to finish cooking. It's got another 15 minutes, and then we can get on to the next stage. Okay, the pork has come out of the oven. Yeah, that sound is my favorite sound in the world. I love crackling. So now it's really crucial because we don't want any of the liquid to touch this glorious crackling that we've achieved. So it's a good idea to get yourself a bowl with a spout, and I'll pour this really rich sauce straight into the bowl. And now we'll pour it very carefully, just making sure it's completely drenching the meat and not touching that skin. And don't forget that kaffir lime leaf, it's going to give it a really nice flavour. This now goes back into the oven, 160 degrees for about 1.5 to 2 hours, so low and slow cooking. Keep an eye on it. If you need a little bit more liquid in there, just add a bit of water. It's been 2 hours, I've been waiting patiently, and it's totally worth it because look at this pork belly. It's blistered over the top, and now we can serve it up. So I'm going to carefully take it out of the sauce. I've allowed it to cool for about 15 to 20 minutes. It will hold its heat because it is in that sauce. And then carefully take it off. Oh my gosh, look at that. You can see how it's almost falling apart. That means that it's tender. Place it on this board. Oh, that bit right there is just to die for. And you can see when it's cooked, when it just pulls apart, just like that. Yummy. Now to serve this, I'm going to get quite a generous amount of this sauce. Just mix it up. See how rich it is after all those hours of cooking. It's reduced a lot too. It smells fantastic, and that coconut milk is really coming through too. Now because it is a rich and thick sauce, you only need a small amount. So I'll place 2 to 3 spoonfuls on the base of a plate, spread it out. And now for the pièce de résistance, we're going to cut into the pork. I'm just going to turn it because I'm serving myself and I want the best part of the crackling, which is just here. I like to use a serrated knife for this, just easier to get through the crackling. Oh, look how tender that is. And I'll get a nice piece. Again, slowly cutting through the crackling. Place it on my knife and we'll just pop that in the sauce. And you have to serve this with a generous bowl of steamed rice to mop up all of that sauce, and a crispy salad just to garnish it. This is some cabbage, some bean sprouts and some coriander. I like to dress it with a little bit of lime. Squeeze that over the top. And a small amount of chilli, fresh chilli. Just mix that through, and a really nice fresh salad does go nicely with this. There you go, pork belly. It is so easy to do. It's a fantastic, entertaining dish. Crispy, crackling, meltingly tender centre, and then a sauce served like that. I'll tell you what, whoever you're cooking for, they are going to love you forever.